Hi guys, it's Mattias, and today's video is going to be a comprehensive guide for the engineer class. And I want to start off with what I think is the most important thing to learn if you are new to Battlefield 6 and the Battlefield franchise, but more importantly the engineer class. Here you see me placing two, not one, two motion sensor mines. And the thing is that when you spawn in default as engineer, you spawn in with one of them and you have the RPG, the rocket launcher. However, if you want to replace either your RPG or your motion sensor mine with the Stinger, the anti-air rocket launcher, then of course you can do so, and that might fit you better on certain maps. Now back to the motion sensor mine. This is an anti-vehicle mine, and in any aspects, if you just play it as if it's a regular tank mine, then in many situations, maybe most situations, you're gonna do just fine. Now here's a clip that hopefully will demonstrate what the motion sensor mine really does. See that I just placed it, it's on my left side, and right there it shot up a projectile, an explosive device obviously, and finished off that tank. Here is the slow motion, pay attention on the left side, there you see it going off, shooting up straight up above the tank, and bang! Even though the tank I think was at like 10-12 meters away, at this point in time I don't know the maximum distance. Now, unlike what the name suggests, the motion sensor mine actually detects enemy vehicles by sound. Now, once it does detect it by an enemy vehicle being close enough, as demonstrated in the previous clip, it will shoot the explosive devices up in the air and hit the tank or whatever target from above, and that is because tanks are normally the weakest on top. Now, it doesn't kill a full HP tank, but with a couple of rockets or sometimes just one rocket from behind, you will be able to finish it off. I don't see any reason to get into statistics about how much damage it does to each vehicle, because, you know, this is beta footage, and by the time that the game is out, we're probably gonna see a lot of changes, and then as, you know, a couple of patches comes out in the first few months, there's gonna be even more changes. My motion sensor mine.
Oh, we got two.
Now, in the beginning of the beta especially, I was able to get a lot of just random kills with the motion sensor mine, probably because the majority of the players didn't really know what it was. Now, by the end of the beta, people started getting more and more aware. I saw my motion sensor mine getting destroyed over and over, and if you want to be successful with this mine when the game is released, you probably have to be a bit more sneaky and a bit more strategic with your placement. It is very, very visible after all. So instead of placing the mine in the middle of the road out in the open, visible for anyone, once you know based on how the map is designed and the spawn points are, you can anticipate from what direction it's most likely that an enemy tank is gonna come from, and you can hide the motion sensor mine in, for example, a crate in the road made by an explosion, near any kind of obstacle that obscures the vision, or like I did here behind this rock-ish. This is not a perfect example of that in any way, but I don't know at this point in time if the projectile potentially could hit an object that you're trying to use to hide the mine behind. Maybe one of the best ideas would be to use one of your rockets from the RPG to shoot a hole in the ground in order to place the motion sensor mine in it. Now, I also used to take advantage of when a road makes a 90-degree turn, and I place the mine so the driver or gunner can't see it until it's too late.
Oh, it's jumping.
So now, all classes in Battlefield 6 have different perks and traits, giving them specific advantages over other classes in certain areas. The signature trait for the engineer class is the flak jacket. It will reduce the splash damage from explosives by 33%. Now keep in mind, this does not mitigate direct damage, only the splash damage. The signature weapon is the SMG. We had two of them in the beta. I liked the second one, the PW7A2. That's the one you see here. But there was a lot of back and forth to whether or not this was the best one versus the default one, which is the SGX. As engineer, you have improved hipfire with SMGs. We'll continue talking about perks later on in the video. Oh, I killed him. I killed him, but he killed me. Nice. So yes, one thing that has been very controversial and frowned upon in the Battlefield franchise, at least historically, is using rocket launchers on infantry. Now the reason for that is because back in the days of Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3, maybe 4, and probably a few other titles, the rocket launchers used to have an enormous amount of splash damage that was extremely effective against infantry. This, without you using the rocket launcher, didn't actually need to hit the target at all. Now normally you may associate this with grenade launchers from Call of Duty and other Battlefield titles, and maybe even in Battlefield 6 this will be the same. Now in Battlefield 6 beta, just like in Battlefield 1 actually, in order to kill a full HP player with a rocket launcher, you actually have to hit them dead on. Now there is a small amount of splash damage, and maybe that splash damage is augmented when you're dealing splash damage to an enemy tank, I don't know, but earlier in this video you saw I got a multi-kill shooting a tank where the people I killed was the engineers repairing it. Now I'm assuming that's because they were already damaged from previous engagements, but you know, at this point in time I don't have the information. So now obviously with the rocket launcher it makes a big difference from what direction you actually hit the tank. You either want to hit it from behind like this or from above, you know, like the motion sensor mine does. But if you can get yourself to an elevated position and shoot down on a tank, you're going to deal additional damage. So yeah, shooting tanks from above deals additional damage, and that is one of many reasons why that rooftop glitch on Cairo, I guess the map was called, had such an enormous impact on the overall gameplay. Now for the most part when I shoot a rocket on a tank I get 25 damage, and normally I see 75 damage with the motion sensor mine. I'm not sure if these numbers are perfectly accurate or how the damage is different shooting the tank from different angles and what actually qualifies for shooting a tank from above, because apparently these shots doesn't qualify even though I'm deliberately aiming at the top of the tank. So now, I know from beta testing previous titles in the Battlefield franchise that tankers specifically are very vocal on forums, so it's very possible that they will argue for having different nerfs to especially the engineer class, potentially the motion sensor mine, its range, the damage obviously, or potentially the velocity of the rocket launcher. Now for obvious reasons you should be engineer also if you spawn a vehicle, and that's not only because you then have the repair tool obviously, but also the auto spotting of the mines. Now I didn't do a lot of repairing myself, but I'll show you a little bit here in the video. And as an engineer you also have an active ability that boosts your repair ability for a short period of time. Now also worth knowing is that the RPG doesn't one-hit kill a full HP car. Well, at least not this one during beta. So now one of the things that I actually didn't try out during the beta was to lay down prone on top of a friendly tank and just repair it. But I guess tankers got used to it, and that, I believe, caused maybe a little bit of confusion when I attempted to do a repair, and you'll see that in just a moment here. Now overall I really enjoyed the beta. I wish we could see some bigger maps. I wish the spawn system was a bit better, you know, like in Battlefield 1. I wish it was more clear what you would be picking up if you pick up a dead player's kit. But overall I really enjoyed the beta.
No, but don't drive away!
So anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. You'll see quite more tank kills here and some motion sensor mine action. And yes, I will play the game when it is released. Thank you for watching.
Maybe.
Killed it.
Yep. Oh.
Oh my god, so many here.
Oh no, one more. I had a long conversation with somebody who is trying to argue that we don't need big maps in the beta. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Alright, sometimes you don't have to overthink it. Ah! Oh, they hit my thing. Yeah, I got him.